Hey y'all, happy Saturday. Hello. It's your girl Sharita, the Behavior and Learning Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. What's been going on? How y'all doing? Father's Day is tomorrow. I'm so excited. I got everything ready. I actually went shopping in advance, not last minute trying to figure everything out. You know what I mean? So I'm very excited about tomorrow, Father's Day, to celebrate my wonderful husband. We met in high school. We're high school sweethearts, and we have two beautiful daughters, and he's an awesome dad to them. So I want to definitely say happy Father's Day to my husband, Kevin Morgan, and also to all the dads out there holding it down, doing your thing for the kids. We love you very much. We appreciate you. Now, I want to tell you about the topic today. It's going to be a good one. Now, we preparing our kids for going into school ahead of the game. So we're not waiting for September or when school starts. We're not waiting for schools to start to try to get our kids together. We're starting now getting our kids together, okay? So I've given you the basics of math, what every kid should know, the basics of reading, what every kid should know. And now today, I'm going to teach you how to get your kids to focus to do it in the first place, okay? Because I don't care how good your plan is, what you want to teach your child. Could be really excited, ready to rock and roll, but if your child does not focus well, get distracted, getting up out of their seat, can't sit for a long time, want too much help right next to them, all that stuff. If there's a lot of distractions going on, it's going to be very difficult for your child to grow. This is a must, you guys. This is a must. The focus, improving your child's focus during studying, right? During homework time, and then having it transfer into the classroom for class, for improvement in the classroom. That's so essential to your child's growth in the coming year. Now, for me, I teach both at the same time. I teach kids how to improve their reading and literacy overall, and also math overall. But at the same time, if I notice that my students are unfocused, I teach them how to focus. If I notice that my students are distracted or moving around in their seats, don't want to sit down, that's in the action plan. I must get that under control. They must learn that in order for this to work. Now, I think that when we're trying to work with our kids, a lot of times we make the mistake of trying to do one at a time. We might be trying to help them with their reading, but we're just focusing on reading. Meanwhile, they get distracted, unfocused, and all over the place, which makes it very difficult, okay? Same thing in school. And we try to teach them how to do math, but they don't stay in their seats. They talk too much. They, talking out in class. All this other stuff is going on. I learned a long time ago when I was a mental health specialist, and I started helping kids with their homework when they came from school. Okay, we started helping the kids with their homework, and we saw them being very unfocused, very distracted, even acting out, getting upset because they couldn't function independently. I learned a long time ago that there is a correlation between acting out behaviors or any avoidance behaviors or any distracted behaviors, problems with focus. There's a correlation between that and also the inability to function independently and read on their own. So I combine both, okay? So this is what I want to help you guys do today, is to improve your child's focus while you are improving their reading or getting them to do some homework or writing or whatever it is, okay? Now, before we do that, I just want to make a couple of announcements, okay? This summer program is going down next week, guys. It's going down, moms and dads. We are starting officially next week, but we will be enrolling kids over the next couple of weeks, even if you haven't gotten your assessment done, your free consultation assessment done and scheduled and enrolled already, you still have time. Okay, this summer it's going to be very intense. We're creating honor roll students, but for the first time, Miss Sharita is focusing on one subject for 2 weeks at a time. For example, the first week I'll be focusing on math foundation, strengthening that math foundation, right? The second week, my students will be learning math on and above their grade level. So it'll be advanced math. So they'll get the foundation and then they will get advanced math. And then the next week after that, for 2 weeks, we'll be doing literacy. Same concept, okay? So we're doing this so that when the kids go back to school, whatever they get hit with in class, they can handle, because they have a strong foundation, but they also know how to work above their grade level. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. It's going down. My students are ready. Also, they're getting, and we do extra days in the summer program. So if my students have 3 days per week, they now have 4. Okay, 4 days of intense learning, intense preparation, study strategies, reading, math. Okay, it's going down. All right, so send us a message. Okay, and we are posting in the comment section. We are posting the checklist. Anything else you need, let us know. Send us a message if you want more information on the summer program. All right. One more announcement. Any questions you want to talk to me directly after this, I'm going to be heading to the Zoom room. So if you want to join us there, also let us know and we will send you the link. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about focus. I'm so passionate about this, y'all, because I really feel like, well, first I have to tell you this. I want to tell you the reason why I started teaching kids how to focus. How to focus, okay? It's because I didn't want kids, children, clients, students on medication. That was me. Okay? Now, I'm not a doctor, okay? And I can't prescribe meds or tell you not to be on medication. That's not my area. So I have to put that disclaimer in there, y'all. Don't come for me. All I'm saying is, in my mind, when I was in my late 20s, I was like, if the kids around me that I was working with, if they learn how to focus, if they learn self-control, if they learn self-discipline, right? And they learned how to focus, then they would no longer need this medication to focus. I felt like we should make sure our kids know how to focus on their own instead of needing something to make them focus, okay? So this is why I started teaching kids how to focus years ago, all right? And we've been doing great. There hasn't been a child that has come into the program that hasn't improved their focus with these areas that I'm about to talk to you about today. So get your pen and paper, get you some coffee or some tea or whatever you want to drink, right? Tell the kids to go sit down somewhere because this is important, okay? You can be like, hey, this is about you. Go sit down somewhere because it's going down, all right? Now, how do we improve your child's focus, okay? Number one, we always want to start with an assessment. We always want to see the situation for what it is. So number one is, how does your child focus or not focus? Every child is different, right? There are some similarities between children, but we want this thing to be customized. So we want to notice our kids' patterns. We want to notice how unfocused they become, when they become unfocused, when they can focus, right? What times, what activities is your child really focusing in? You don't need to tell them to pay attention. You don't need to tell him to look at what he's doing. You don't need to tell him nothing. He just in it. He can focus, right? And then find out, pay attention and find out what times your child becomes unfocused, okay? what you want to do when you find when your child is focused, when you find those situations, you want to replicate it and make it across the board, because number one, you realize that your child can focus. It's not something going on with your child that's saying he absolutely cannot focus, right? And I don't like that can't word anyway, right? Your child absolutely can focus if he's focusing in this time without a problem. If it's time for him to watch TV and he's focusing, or if he likes doing puzzles and he's completely focused when he's doing puzzles, right? Or if she likes to draw and she's completely focused when she is drawing, right? You have to find out when it does my child focus, okay? And then after you pay attention and see how your child focuses, okay? Then you want to look at, well, what times does my child become unfocused? Is it when I tell my child to clean their room and they start spinning around, right? Or is it when it's time for them to read? Is it when it's time for them to do their homework? Is it when it's time for them to get ready for bed? They become unfocused, right? What happens right before your child becomes unfocused? And then make a plan for that. So what you want to do is you want to create focus for those situations. You want to put some structure around it, okay? And I'll talk about my youngest baby. She's 5, and Maya can become very unfocused when it's time to go to bed. She don't want to go to bed. When it's time to go to bed, that's when I really see, that's one of the times I really see her become unfocused. So I knew I had to put some structure around it. I can't say just, Maya, go upstairs and get in the bed. I have to say, all right, this is what you want to do. You're going to walk upstairs, you're going to go in the room, and then you're going to put your clothes in the hamper. You're going to get changed for bed, put your clothes in the hamper, okay? And no talking, because my baby, she want to talk first. She want to say something first, but talking to you and everything. So I know as part of her structure, I have to say, you got to do it quietly without talking. And then I removed everything else, and now she's just walking upstairs and walking to her room to do that one thing. And then I'm like, okay, and I'm going to come check on you in 2 minutes. The structure is tight. It's tight then, okay? So find out when your child becomes unfocused, and then create some structure around it, some expectations with structure around it, so your child knows, and routine. Well, we'll talk. I kind of giving stuff away too early right here, but so that your child knows, okay, it's bedtime. I'm going to do bam, 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 bam. Mom's going to come check, in this time. I better be ready. Okay. Number 2, develop your child's focus stamina. What is focus stamina? Focus. This is what focus stamina means. How long can your child sit and focus on a task without becoming distracted by or inviting distractions into their environment? Okay, so some kids, it's time for them to do some work, and somebody will walk past, and then they're all paying attention to that, or somebody say something over here and they're talking over there, right? They're paying attention to everything around them, right? So they get distracted by their environment, or inviting distractions into their environment. People could be minding their business over there, right? Or they looking for something, and I see a bottle of water over there. Like, the bottle of water not messing with nobody, but they're looking for distractions, right? And so they'll grab the bottle of water, those kind of things. So what you want to do is you want to build up your child's focus stamina. If your child right now cannot focus for more than 5 minutes, then that's definitely something you want to work on. You want to create a situation where they are expected to focus for more than 5 minutes. You want to put the structure around it, and you want to make sure that they know that they're going to be doing this and only this for this time. Okay? This is very important, because what we don't want, and let me know what y'all think, but this is something that I don't like, okay? What we don't want is for our children to be in school and they can't focus for more than 5 minutes, so they keep needing a teacher or aide to come over and get them on track, or they just keep getting breaks, multiple breaks, where they can keep getting up and walking around or going outside for walks and all that. They don't need that many breaks. And listen, I know a lot of people probably disagree with me, but I'm telling you, I've been working with kids for years. They do not need all those breaks. The breaks are a way to get away from what they need to do, right? And if your child have a hard time sitting, then that's what one of the focus, one of the goals should be for them to sit down. So we don't want to look at it like my child has a hard time sitting, so he needs the breaks. What we want to say is, my child, we're going to take those breaks away. We're going to have breaks at reasonable times, right? Like throughout the school day, to use the bathroom, the breaks to where a whole class go to the bathroom, or it's time to go to the lunch, or you know what I mean, or walk into gym or whatever. We want to remove all the excessive breaks there, and instead we want to focus on sitting, right? So make sure that your child develops that focus stamina over time. You want your child to be able to sit down and do an assignment and do their work and know what to do when they're finished their work and know how to be patient and wait their turn, right? Check over their work, right? You want your child to be able to sit there and focus on that and only that for a period of time, okay? So we got, how does your child focus? You have to find out, how does your child, customizing this thing, right? Number 2, develop your child's focus stamina. And listen, I know what that's like. Like for me, I had to work on developing my own focus, so I understand, right? So I'm not saying that there's not an issue with focus, like that just doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, we all have to learn how to improve our focus so that we can get to that next level. And don't you want your baby to get to the next level? Well, this got to be taken care of, okay? This got to be taken care of, okay? I'll give you an example too. When it comes to focus, students come into my program, or one of my students, I'll talk about one of them, came to the program, and this is not just him, it's a couple of students will come in and do this, moving around a lot, wanting to get up, turning off the camera or muting or writing on the screen, that kind of stuff, right? All of that stuff. But then when we focus, we put a plan together. Next thing you know, that student is sitting, and when it's time to copy something down, I see them looking at the screen and writing. Because that's exactly what I said. I said, I want your eyes on the screen, I want your eyes on the paper. Pencil moving. Eyes on the screen, eyes on the paper. Eyes on the screen, eyes on the paper. That means not looking to the right, not looking to the left, not looking on the floor, trying to pick something up. Eyes on the paper, eyes on the screen, eyes on the paper, eyes on the screen, eyes on the paper, eyes on the screen, eyes on the paper. So we have to really tighten up that structure so that we teach them exactly what focus looks like. That should be on the checklist too. We have to teach our children what focus looks like, okay, and guide them and block out everything else that they're used to being, having as a distraction. We have to get them to block everything out and then focus on what you want them to focus on. And once they develop that habit at home, they will start to do it at school too, okay? And I'm thinking about one of my students, the same student I'm telling you about. His mom just texted me and let me know that he got 4 awards, okay, at the end of the school year. And he was really struggling. But 4 different awards. I wish I could. I'm not sure. I think if I go out of this, I won't be able. You guys won't be able to see me. That's what I think. So I'm not sure. But 4 awards, okay? At the end of the school year, and that's a big improvement. But in the beginning, it looked like he wouldn't be able to focus. That word can't. We can believe. You look at him and you say, "Oh, he can't focus. He got a big problem with focus." That's temporary, okay? We expect them to focus. Number 3, give your child a routine that they are in charge of and teach them how to do it independently. So we have gaps we have spaces where kids can become unfocused. We want to close those spaces up, right? We don't want to do it. It's like a leak. We want to block that leak. We want to close those spaces up. Now, if you tell your child it's time for homework, and you start gathering all the materials and you keep telling them, come on, come on, come on, but you got all the material, that's a space for them to become very unfocused and twirl around, and you gotta call them 5 times and all this other stuff. And then you finally get them to look all this work you're doing. You finally get them in a seat, and then you put their notebook in front of them, you put their pencil in front of them, and you're like, okay, now I'm gonna do this. All the work for focus is coming from you. You're doing all of the focus work. But what if instead you taught your child, when it's homework time, when I say time for homework, or when look at the clock, when it's this time, when it's 5:30, whatever you pick, right? Whatever time you choose, this is what I want you to do. I want you to grab your book bag. I want you to grab bring your book bag and sit it down. I want you to take out your notebook, place it here, top right corner. I want you to take out your pencil, put it right next to the notebook. I want you sitting with your back to the chair. I want your feet on the floor. I want you your hands folded and ready. So when it's time for them to do their homework, they know that they have a routine that they have to do every single time. So if they're focused on that routine, they're not focused on, I still want to play the game, I'm watching TV, I don't feel like doing my homework, I'm going to do this and that. You get that routine down, and you do it every day, and you're like, nope, and then then put a time limit on it. you got 1 minute, 30 seconds, let's go, almost there. Make sure you got everything double check. All right, here I come, right? So when you do it like that, and you give them responsibility, you give them the routine, you give them responsibility, then they take ownership of it and they're moving. You always want them to be moving, okay? So that they're ready. You know how much focus it takes for kids, especially the youngest ones, to prepare like that and be ready? Listen, I have my youngest babies telling me, Miss Sharita, I already wrote my name, I already wrote my date, I'm ready. Okay? So make sure that you give them a routine. Don't do all of the work. Because if you're doing all the work at home, the teacher's going to be doing all the work. It's too many kids in the classroom. Then there's a lot of spaces for your child to become unfocused, right? Because there's so many kids. There's so many, openings, right? So we want to close this up, and we want our children to be on point. That will improve their focus, okay? So we got, how does your child focus? Develop your child's focus stamina, the length of time that they're able to focus, right? Give your child a routine that they are in charge of, and teach them how to do it independently, okay? All right? So that's it. That's with anything. I'm just using homework as an example. It could be cleaning their room. Same thing. When you clean your room, this is what I want, and here's the routine. Boom, 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 boom. Done. I'm checking the time, or the time is about to go off. You know what I mean? That takes focus, because they have to stop their brain from focusing on this, and then bring the focus over here to get the job done. And it's moving. Okay? Always be moving. Number 4, set expectations on how you want things done. Okay? And look, I was trying to hold off on this one. This is what I was just talking about with the room. You want to tell your child how you want it done. You want to tell your child where the hamper goes, and how you want the clothes in the hamper, how you want their shoes organized, right? You want to tell them how you want, the bed made. They can just throw the blanket on there and walk away and say, I made the bed. Teach them how you want it. So set expectations, because it takes more focus to make the bed and put it a certain way and double check and make sure it's right. That only comes from your expectations. Okay? Unless your child is like, I'm just really psyched about having a really made, well-made bed. If they like that, they like their things neat and they feel okay. But the average child is not really, they just want to throw their things and then run out, right? So set an expectation, for how you want it done, okay? When they finish eating, don't allow them to just leave their stuff on the table and walk off. They gotta have to clean up after themselves. How do you want it done? You want to take their plate and put it in the sink, and their cup and put it in the sink, and then wipe the table off, and take the little crumbs and put it in the trash? push their chair in. Listen, when I was teaching, my students had a routine. They used to clean the classroom, first of all. The janitor didn't have to do much. The custodian didn't have to do much at all. But at the end of the day, it was like that. It's time to line up. Everybody had to have their stuff ready. Their book bags had to be not holding them, not on the floor, on the back of their chairs. I'm inspecting. I'm looking around. That takes focus, okay? And then when it's time for them to line up, I used to have them stand up and then stand behind their chair and push their chair in and put their hands on their chairs and stand there and wait. And I'm looking to see who's ready. This is what we have to. We have to give our kids some standards because they will focus on that. So you know what used to happen before I did that? They would be, all of them not have their stuff ready, and I got to get them lined up and outside, right? They would not have their stuff ready. They'll be dropping their stuff. They'll be getting into arguments with each other. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, twirling around, fighting over who's going to be the line leader and all this other stuff. No, I put structure and expectations there so that they know what to focus on. See, when it comes to kids being unfocused, a lot of it has to do with the kids having too much free reign to do things or not do things properly, and they're kind of all over the place and everything, and they're waiting for the adults to come and fix it and make it nice and neat and tidy and keep reeling them back and putting them back where they're supposed to be. So what we want to do is flip the script here. We want to put the responsibility on them for their own things, and we want to always be saying, be ready, be ready. When I come to you, be ready. When I look up, be ready. When I look up from my desk, this is what I want to see. This is how you show me you're ready. This is how you show me you finished doing your work. This is how you show me that you know the answer, right? Not, when somebody else trying to talk. This is how you do it, okay? All right? So that one is set expectations for how you want things done. Homework. That's another good one. I want your name on the paper. I want your name on the paper and I want your date on the paper. That's me. I always, okay? Name and date on the paper. I want you to write down the questions. That's me again. They have to write down all the questions. They can't just write answer, 3-word answer. I want you to write down the questions. I want you to write the answers down. You know, I want your work neat. I want you to double check it, okay? These are the things that I teach them. I have these expectations. So it takes focus and them paying attention to detail to make sure they have everything set up already the correct way, okay? And this is helping them develop self-discipline, okay? And if they have self-discipline and they're focusing on the right things, then they're not going to have no self-control and be all over the place because they're like, okay, I got to make sure this is right before I present it to Miss Sharita because Miss Sharita's about to look at it and this is what she wants. So don't be afraid to have these expectations, you know, for how we want things done. And the same thing when it comes to writing. I teach a lot of kids, and I've taught a lot of kids over the years when they come to me, and that's throughout the grades, they write, but they're not making sure they have a capital letter in the beginning of a sentence and a period at the end of the sentence. They know how to do it. Some of them I have to teach them. Some of them don't know, and I have to teach them. But other ones, they know how to do it. They just wasn't really putting much effort or really paying much attention to detail when it came to their writing. So they were just writing, and then here you go, right? No, give it back, give it back. Go back, and you missed a couple of periods. Find them, okay, and make them work. All right. So set expectations for how you want things done. If we do that at home, when they go in the classroom, they have now built up that muscle. And that will help in the classroom, and the teacher will thank you for it because they will have self-discipline, okay? So the next one, number 5, is teach your child to pay attention to details. Teach your child to pay attention to details, okay? Like I said before, kids are they can just run over and not really put much effort, not really pay much attention to it. But teaching them to pay attention to details is going to help them in reading, it's going to help them in spelling, it's going to help them in math, it's going to help them in their writing, you know what I mean? It's going to help them in science, it's going to help them everywhere because they have to actually look at it, especially with reading comprehension. A lot of kids read the text, but they don't know what they're reading because they're not paying attention to detail and they're not connecting with what they're reading. They're just getting through it. So when you teach them to slow down and pay attention to detail and make sure what they read every word, okay? Don't pass over a, don't pass over the, don't switch the and instead of saying this you say the, or instead of saying the you say this. Listen, honey, I stop my students and I get them to go back and get that word. They have to read every word exactly as it appears on the page. And that is teaching them how to pay attention to detail. We have to read everything on the page. We have to read the word name, we have to read the title, we have to read the author. They skip over all that and just start reading the paragraph, the first paragraph. No, go back and get that. Well, the reason why I teach them, and then students when they first come, they're like, I have to read the word name or write my name. No, read the word name. They like, what? Yeah, it sounds a little ridiculous. But the reason I do that is to teach them to search the whole page and look at the whole page. Also read the directions on the page, whatever the instructions for how you're going to do your work, right? So this is so important to teach them to pay attention to detail when they're doing their work, when they're doing chores. Pay attention to detail. Make sure that you did a good job. If you sweep, there shouldn't still be dirt on the floor because you didn't sweep it all in the trash can. Make sure you sweep it all up. Pay attention to detail, okay? This is going to help them tremendously. And then the last one, so since this is the last one, we're going to go from top to bottom. Number one, so this is how to improve, if you're just joining, this is how to improve your child's focus, okay? And these are a couple of the areas that I focus on and I teach my students when they come into my program and what I work on with my own daughters. And then for me as a mom, it's tough because I work from home. So when my kids are home, they're, after school, I'm in class, I have breaks in between, but I'm like, so with my daughters, keeping them on track is like, my husband, when he goes to work, he's at work, and that's it. So I have to split my mom brain. I'm mom, and I'm also working at the same time. So I understand it's easier said than done, but I also understand that that's something that I had to work on with my daughter, and she was getting in trouble in school for yelling out, for getting out of her seat, and I worked on a plan, an independent action plan with her teacher, and I worked on her every day, and to improve her focus and improve her self-control and self-discipline in the classroom. And then we were rewarded because she was awarded Student of the Month. And there's only a few of the kids in the whole school, right? From each class. They select kids from each class to have Student of the Month. During Student of the Month, they did a big ceremony. It was beautiful. She felt so good. This is the reason why we do this, y'all. When we're trying to get our kids together and we're trying to improve their focus and we're getting them to pay attention to detail and we're working them, people on the outside might be like, oh, let them be a kid and you're working them too hard and all this other stuff. But the look on my daughter's face when she heard she got Student of the Month, okay, is worth it. I will go through her not wanting to, sit down when she had to sit down and practice sitting. That's one thing that I did, practice sitting, right? I will go through that. I will even go through people on the outside. I don't get that now. I used to get that when I was younger. Looking and shaking their heads because they don't understand. I will go through all of that as a mother just to see the look on my baby's face when she comes out and she gets a good report from her teacher every day and she earns Student of the Month. It is worth it. I'm telling y'all, it's worth it. So whatever work you have to do right now, when you feel like this is a lot, or am I being too tough, or or be easy, or am I really, because the kids don't like it, right? and you like, as a mother, or as a dad, this. I know they don't like it right now, but this is what they need to get them to cross over from getting in trouble and being unfocused and not learning as fast as they should because they're so unfocused and distracted and all over the place, to a place where they are growing, they are being successful, They know what success feels like, and it just keeps going. This is worth it, y'all. It's worth it. Let's improve our kids' focus from home, okay? Focus, behavior, literacy, math. We got this. I got one more for you, okay? And then I'm going to head over to the Zoom room if anybody has any questions. If you also have or want to know more about the summer program, go ahead and send us a message, okay? You can put it in the comment section or send us a direct message, okay? Because we are still enrolling students for this high challenge summer program. If your child is functioning below grade level, they won't be anymore. Let's do this, okay? Last one. This is a big one. That's why I saved it for last. You know what I'm saying? That's why I saved it for last. It's a big one. Teach your child how to remain in their seat. Teach your child how to remain in their seat. All this work on focus and you know, focusing and paying attention to detail when they're reading, writing, doing their math, okay, and doing a good job on their work and checking their work and everything I said. So I said, find out how your child how does your child focus. Develop your child's focus, stamina, length of time that they can remain focused. Give your child a routine that they are in charge of, and teach them how to do it independently. So it's already done. It's already done. They got this. All right? Set expectations on how you want things done, how you want it done. Teach your child to pay attention to detail. None of this will happen if they are not in their seats, okay? If your child would not stay in their seats, none of this will happen. The magic happens when you put that structure in there and they're sitting down and they learn to stand in the seat. That means I can't get up and use the bathroom. Now let me explain. Come on, y'all. I know everybody wanted to, you know what I mean? Don't come for me. I'm going to tell you what I mean in a second. That means that they can't get up to use the bathroom. They can't go get a snack. They can't drop their pencil 100 times, right? They can't come and it's time to do homework. They're like, oh, I forgot my pencil. Or, oh, I forgot my notebook. Oh, I don't have this. Listen, when my students come into the program, the very first thing they have to do to earn their points, they can earn up to 5 points. These are points. These are criteria. Number one is be prepared for success. You must come prepared, because I don't want nobody leaving in the middle of class to go get nothing. Okay? So my students learn this all the way from 4 years old all the way up until the older kids, right? Middle high school. I just started teaching a college student recently. They all know this and they all do it. So, and then the other thing is use the bathroom before you come to class, okay? So they use the bathroom and then when they come to class, they're sitting. They sit the whole class. They sit the whole class. It's very rare any of them actually use the bathroom. It's so rare, it's almost non-existent. They are focused on the class for the whole entire hour, okay? Because they've developed this discipline. They know when they come to class, they have to be prepared for success. They have to have their notebook ready. They have to have their pencil ready. They've been writing down their name and date on the paper before they even know what I'm going to be teaching them for the day, because they are prepared for success. That number one is intentional. I created that one so that number two becomes easy. And number two, in order to earn your points, you have to remain seated. But what does remain seated mean? Because I'm virtual. I'm online when I'm teaching. So it's not just sitting down, but it's also sitting up. There's no head down. There's no laying down in the bed. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, I see toes in the air. We're not doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell my students that pretend, if you're not sitting at a table or desk, pretend you are. So if you're sitting on your bed, you have to be sitting up, Indian style, notebook on your paper, pencil in your hand, eyes on the screen looking at me. Okay? So remaining seated means that, but it also means that your camera has to be set up right. So you can't have your camera moving around because you're touching your device. You understand? So I'm very specific with this. This is helping them focus. Very specific. So they can't be messing with their camera. They can't, if they start touching and playing with their camera and muting and unmuting and have a background where they on a beach hanging out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? All of that, they lose that point. So remain seated is so important, and having them be prepared before they even start doing homework with you or independent study time with you is crucial. This is the structure we put around it. If my child does not sit and remain seated, I'm going to erase all distractions. We're going to get bathroom out of the way. We're going to snack is before or after. Okay? We're going to make sure we have all materials when we come and sit down. Okay? So that works. Now that we're there, now we can go to the next 3 things, which is follow directions, do my work, and do my best. Those are the 5 things they have to do to earn 5 points. Okay? But none of that will happen. Follow directions, do my best, and do my work if they don't sit in their seat. If they have to keep getting up. If they keep dropping their pencil. If they drop their pencil one time, everybody's like, up. Because they know. Because I told them, keep your pencil on the table. Keep your pencil on the desk. I've taught my students years ago when I was teaching in the classroom, same thing. It's your responsibility to keep your pencil on your desk. And if we don't set this, then they're going to drop their pencils rolling across the desk, and drop their pencils over and over. Next thing you know, they reach in to get their pencil, and they're falling out the chair. So you're hear of your child or other kids in the classroom falling out the chair. That's why. Okay? That's why. So we have to put the structure around it. We have to teach our kids what remain seated looks like, what we want to see. You know what I mean? When we tell them to sit down and remain seated, this is what it looks like. Okay? So that is number 6. Then you work on these things. You teach your child these things. They're going to have a self-party. What's the self-party? They'll be self-aware. They'll be self-accountable. They'll have self-discipline, self-control, and one of my favorites, self-motivation. Because my students come here, I'm going to get 5 points today, Miss Sharita. This is what I heard from my early learning group. We the 5-point crew. We're the 5-point crew. We get 5 points. And then if, I'm not happy with the points, I will turn off my camera, and every group has a group leader. And I say, group leader, talk to them. These are 5 and 6-year-olds, y'all. Well, 4 when they first come in. And then 5 and 6-year-olds. So they talking, group leaders talking like, come on, guys. Come on, we got to get 5 points. We're the 5 points crew. So let's make sure we remain seated. Make sure that we pay attention when Miss Sharita's talking. Get to work right away, because these are the things that I teach them. Okay, these are the expectations I'm telling you about. Come on, let's do it, everybody. Let's get 5 points next time. Okay, let's get 5 points next time. All right, you can do it. And they start talking to each other. I believe in you. You can do it. What am I doing? I'm sitting back here. Because when we say, remember I said, what did I say? Give your child a routine that they are in charge of and teach them how to do it independently. I've done my job. I'm sitting back, chilling, watching everything, but I turn my mic off and I turn off my camera so that they can have that teamwork, they can have that camaraderie, and they can function more independently. And man, it's a beautiful thing. And that takes focus to lead a group. We're talking about little kids, okay? Every group, all the way up until high school, has a group leader. They all have a group leader, okay? So, like I said before, I've seen kids improve their focus over time for years. And my students, when they come in, typically within the first couple of weeks, moms and dads see change, okay? That's really, literally, it does not take that long when you put the right structure in place. You have expectations, okay? And you have the flow of the classroom. You have the community. Well, you're at home. I'm talking about the classroom. But if you have more than one child, hey, this is what we do. We always do the right thing. We make good choices in here, right? We earn this, whatever your incentive is. Make sure your children are focused on that. And the last thing I want to say, with all of this, ask your child ask yourself, what do you want your kids to focus on? What are they focused on mostly? And what do you want them to focus on? Are they focused on watching the game, playing the game, or on their phone, or watching TV? That's their focus. That's eating their focus. And it's not growing them. What do you want to replace that with? Okay? Because we saw Maya in here reading, I'm sorry, using a Kindle Fire too much, and my husband took it away for 2 weeks, and I replaced that time. Like, I want you to go get a bunch of books, because she's 5 years old. She's about to be 6, and on July 3rd, and she's reading way above her grade level. So I just put go get a couple books. I can tell her that now, because we set up the routine, and the expectation. She's learned how to read, So I tell her, I say, go get like 4 or 5 books and sit down. At first, she didn't like it. She was upset. Oh, I don't want. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about when you make a decision as a parent and your child starts huffing and puffing, right? Or they start whining about it. That don't mean you change what you said. You have discretion. You're the parent. So if you feel like my child is focusing too much on his phone, my child's spending too much time with this game, you can switch that up. So she started, and then after a while, she was just grabbing the books, and I didn't even have to tell her. And she'll be reading, and she'll do a great job. Next thing you know, she started grabbing chapter books. And then she just finished her first chapter book a couple of weeks ago. She's 5. She's 5. So in the beginning, there's the fight. And then after a while, the routine, there's growth. Your child's growth is right there waiting. So decide what you want your child to focus on. And remove the distractions. Follow these tips. You can click on the link in the comment section to get the checklist, right? And start growing and improving your child's focus now. So when they go back to school, they are equipped for success. Because that's what we do. We improve our children's behavior, focus, learning from home, and then we send them to school equipped for success. We got this. All right? Thank you guys so much for hanging with me today. It was a great Saturday, and I used to do the live before I started doing all my classes. Now I do it at the end, so I'm actually done. So now I'm about to just finish up, and then I'm just gonna hang with my family tonight. Just be mom, just be wife to my husband, and enjoy my Saturday. Happy Father's Day again for all the dads out there. We love you so much. All the dads holding it down, okay? There's nothing like a dad that'll come in and hold it down, all right? And for my girls, like my husband, and he come in the house and everything will just mellow out because dad's in the room, okay? And then he spoils them at the same time, but it's just amazing, just amazing. So I'm very grateful for the relationship that my husband has with my daughters, the dad and daughter relationship they had. So shout out to all the dads. Yes, I did say shout out. I know I'm dating myself, but shout out to all the dads out there holding it down and taking good care of your kids and having expectations. Because when we moms are working so hard and spinning a bunch of plates, sometimes it's very difficult to do that part too. Not sometimes. It's very difficult to do that part too. When you come in and take that off our shoulders, nothing like it. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you, dads. You're absolutely amazing for what you do. We love you. Okay? All right. For more information on the tutoring and coaching program, again, send us a message or go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. That's GROWTH Institute.mykajabi.com. Also, okay, like, yes, the Zoom video conference afterwards where we're going is free, okay? So there's no charge. This is just us hanging out. You got some questions, you want to talk about some things, that's where we'll be, okay? All right? Thank you so much for everything. Love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend and Father's Day. Believe in yourself. Believe in your child, honey. Always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.